Hello and welcome to Easy Like a Sunday Morning. Today is July 20th, 2014, and I'm your host, Shane Lockwood. Now, first and foremost, welcome to the show. I want to thank everybody who listens to the show, whether it's through Spreaker, Stitcher, YouTube, iTunes, TuneIn, whichever format you choose to use the show. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. Now, I want to say a super special thank you to Raggy Ragsdale for doing the interview last week, and that show went absolutely gangbusters on here. Absolutely incredible. The viewing figures, absolutely amazing. To put things into perspective, normally I will get around about 20, 25 listens on Spreaker. Last week's show hit 100 listens on Spreaker. How amazing is that? That's absolutely fantastic. And that was checked today. So that's over a week. People have been listening to the show every day. And I think they're probably going to keep listening to it over and over again. Now the reason, going back, and normally the podcasts get about 14 to 20 listens on YouTube, and last week's show jumped up to 57 views on YouTube. So that's absolutely incredible. Now the reason, I think, apart from having Reggie on the show and all you guys are big fans of Reggie, was that I put a whole heap of tags in the video, in the podcast, that were like religious Christianity and atheism and stuff like that. Now, on Twitter, someone had left a comment on Twitter that, you know, they really enjoyed listening to what Reggie had to say and stuff like that. And there was also a little message that said that the show, the podcast, was put on an atheist website, and also in Reddit, the atheist subreddit, I think it's called. Reddit is RETTIT.com. And it's where most of the photos and things come from that get shared on Facebook, you know, all your memes and things like that. So that's where all a lot of the views and things were coming from, which is great. It gets more people listening to the show. That's absolutely fantastic. I don't expect the same this week, because one, I'm late, and two, everybody's listening to Raggy Ragsdale. Now, in some other funny news, there was an accidental coincidence in that Lauren, I can't pronounce her middle name, but her surname's Fenton. You know who she is. She does all the ASMR videos. ASMR is like they're weird sounds that will set the hair on the back of your neck on edge and things like that. So she does all those soft whispering meditations and stuff. Anyway, she'd put a series of photos of her holding a microphone, and there's one where she's looking up and to the side, and she's got a hand in sort of what's known in Buddhism circles as a mudra. And it's like the AOK symbol that you see me doing in the logo for this show. And what I've done is I've put both of those photos together, and I will put them as the thumbnail to this podcast, I think. And I'll do the same with YouTube as well, just so you get a bit of a kick out of that. I'm going to say welcome on board to Kimber, who clicked like on the Facebook group, which is absolutely fantastic. I've known Kimber for a while now. big fan of her work. What was the other thing? Oh, I want to send a special shout out and a thank you to Heath Tompkins, who is the husband of Mums the Witch, and we went off and had a bit of a chat, a bit of a lunch together, because as Reggie said last week, it might not have been in the show, but he said that someone had knocked me off balance, like emotionally, spiritually, and whatever, and that was true. And a few months ago, I had the rug pulled out from under me. Just real nasty people, backstabbing schemers. The management where I was working was treating me like dirt, and so on and so forth. It was just a really bad time, a really bad experience, and it just really wasn't worth the money. I'm still having nightmares, and I'm still traumatized by what went on. But just to have a chat, just to get out and have a bit of fresh air, it does a lot of wonders, just to help somebody else to get something off their chest, all their stresses and all the nonsense. And sometimes when you talk to somebody else who is a YouTuber, you get a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you normally wouldn't get just through interacting through Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that, because people would say, "Oh, by the way, someone's calling you a troll," and all this sort of stuff. And was never true. I'm not a troll. I don't attack anybody on YouTube. I will defend people and I will support people if I think that their treatment is unfair. However, I try very strongly to get the full story before I do anything, and sometimes I don't have the full story, and if I'm corrected, then I delete the video. But that started a real hornet's nest when I did a video supporting a YouTuber who was being attacked by someone who was well known in the Australian YouTube community, and a lot of people was like, "Oh no, he wouldn't do that. Oh, he wouldn't do that." It was like, well, yeah, he did, and he's really, really nasty. But we won't go there. We want to keep this easy, like a Sunday morn. We don't want to be attacking other people, spreading rumours and dramas and things like that. This is a completely different show. But a special thank you to Heath for doing that. In today's Meme Busters, there's two memes that I want to bust, and I want to talk about memes in general and the dangers of spreading them. One of them is the first one is a one about sniffing flatulence, and yeah, I know, yeah, you heard me correctly. The meme is being spread and saying that it's scientifically proven that sniffing flatulence is actually good for your health. Whereas I can assure you that if you were to go around doing that sort of thing, your lifespan will be exponentially shortened. You you just don't go around doing that. But what it was a misreporting of a scientific discovery to do with cells and things like that, and how cells repair themselves. And it had nothing to do with flatulence whatsoever. It did have something to do with gases and that, and it's rather complicated. But they just tried to turn it into filth, but look, quite literally. So just be aware of that. Don't go doing that sort of stuff anyway, or spreading the meme. The second meme, and this is a funny one in that sometimes someone will share a meme and the debunking of that meme is in the suggested stories, like related stories, like as part of that meme. So this meme is the guy with the blue eyes. For those of you who can't really remember, he was basically a pretty boy who got caught doing some criminal act, and yeah, all the girls liked him. So he became popular overnight. Oh, yeah, he's so cute. And you think, well, hang on, this guy's a criminal. But because he's good looking, until he opens his mouth and you see like his teeth are covered in gold, plated, and just like, ugh. But anyway, like, the meme was that he had gotten out of prison, and the day that he got out of prison, he was killed by his ex-wife and all this sort of stuff, which is, of course, is not true because the guy was gay, so he's not married at all. Well, not married to a woman at least, and yeah, the guy's still alive, you know. But yeah, just double check memes and things like that. Now, the dangers of it. This is something that somebody had pointed out in another YouTube video, was that some of these memes are old, right? You think, oh, hang on, I remember that meme from months ago, or I remember that meme for a couple of years ago. What's going on? And oh, that was another one. There's a hole in Siberia or something or other, and people are saying it's from the set of Star Wars or something like that, and it wasn't. It was, and I fell for that one too. It was a hole in Siberia, like a sinkhole, but it was like 2 years old. And someone just found it and went, oh, okay, what if we just did this and spread this around again? But the real danger of memes, older memes, is that, say if there's a meme looking for a missing kid, or raising money for charity for sick kids, or you know, skinny dogs, animal rescue, those sorts of things, right? Some of those animals have either been killed, rescued, or whatever. The story's been long since over. But what scammers are doing, they're going, we've got this meme, this will spread like wildfire. So what they do is they change all the payment details, because some of these memes have asked you to donate money for their cause. They change all the payment details, and then they launch them again. People go, oh, there's this happening, this happening, this happening. Pulls on the heartstrings. They spread it, and next minute, people are cashing in because, we want to do the right thing by this, without fact checking, without going. So you have to be really, really careful when it comes to the memes and things like that. You know, sick kids, skinny dogs, animal rescue, you name it, and that's lower than low, really. If you want to help out children, donate to your local children's hospital, raise awareness about autism, rescue a pet from a RSPCA or something like that. Do something locally. Don't do stuff online. Don't buy stuff online if you can buy it locally. That sort of stuff too. What else? Doctor Who news. In Doctor Who news, the Series 8, starring Peter Capaldi and Jennifer Coleman, will be back on August 23rd. Excuse the sound of my fridge that just started. And the big news is, even though it's like a long way away, over a month away, the first 5 episodes have had their scripts leaked. The scripts for the first 5 episodes have been leaked, and the first episode had been leaked as well. However, it's in black and white. There's no special effects. It's basically like a pre-rendering thing that these special effects guys get before they work on the final product. And I will admit to having read through the scripts, and some of them are pretty good. And I did see the leaked first episode, and I wish that I hadn't. Now, it's a fantastic episode, don't get me wrong. And it's a bit of a tearjerker as well. Because it introduces what you'd call either the 12th Doctor, or the 14th Doctor, or whatever incarnation he is now. And he does a great job. Absolutely great. Does a fantastic job. But don't ruin it for yourself. Really, really don't ruin it for yourself, because it looks so much better in colour from what I've seen of the trailers for the show, and they'll have more and more trailers as the lead up to the series begins. So just don't spoil it for yourself. I really don't think you should. Save yourself a special treat. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is this show now has about an hour left of space on Spreaker, which means that you either have to start paying for storage, or I will have to delete old files. Now, a lot of the older episodes aren't all that good. That's fine, I understand that. I know that. And this is a constant form of, this is constantly going to be undergoing, excuse me, I'm having trouble breathing. 1, 2, 3. This program is undergoing constant improvement, constant self-improvement, constant looking at different techniques and things like that. And so I don't mind deleting older shows. I'm not going to delete all of them. I'll only delete a few at a time because I was just getting started. And now, the point I'm making here is that if you do want to store some of those older files, please go ahead and download them now. And what I will do is maybe wait a week and record the next week's episode, and then start deleting for the week after, unless I can get some funding, and I'll have to look at different funding options. What I have been doing is doing research into what other podcasters are doing, some of the techniques that they use. There's a podcast doctor, I don't know his podcast name, but what he's doing is he's teaching people how to podcast properly. But what he does is that bit where I lost my breath because my throat's dry again after talking for 17 minutes non-stop, is that you would edit that out, and all the ums and ahs and things like that, you edit all them out, and it does make a cleaner show. But it does mean that the time that it would take to do a show and then to have it up professionally done and stuff like that is not going to be a weekly show. If it was a monthly show, it'd be a bit different. But the point of this show for me is that I just wanted a different outlet, really. That would be cut out, see? But not just having a different outlet, but for those of you that have depression and understand this, sometimes you need a hook in your week. And this is like a mini deadline for me. And I'm late. But the point is, I want to have something uploaded every Sunday. So I've still got time to render this, save it, put in the intro, outro, and upload and launch it to YouTube, monetize it, do all that sort of stuff before midnight, my time. So it's still within Sunday, so I can still do that. What else is there? Oh, now, part of the techniques, basically I'm at the end of where I can go, as in promoting this show without having a proper website. Now, I do have space that my internet service provider has allotted to me, but it's not a domain name, as in, it's not easylikeasundaymorn.com, and there isn't. The website that I've got is just really, really crude, but it has all the information that you need to get in contact with me and things like that. And what I'm going to do now is give you that information. Oh, and I've got to remember the code word as well. So to get in touch with me, and please excuse the clicking sounds every now and again. That's me just moving the microphone, and I shouldn't be touching it. However, that's what happens when you don't have a proper microphone or a microphone stand or this sort of thing. This is where money comes in. This is where I'd have to look at Patreon funding models and things like that. Patreon's not too bad because what you're doing is you're pledging like $1 a month or something like that. Then I'd have to look at what kind of rewards I could give you guys back in return for that $1. But I'd need like a lot of people doing that. But this podcast will always be free. You don't need to worry about that. This is just for people who want to see it continue, and it will continue to every week because it's something that it's like I said, it's a hook. I need to do this. This is something I've committed to do. However, with a little bit more money, I can buy better equipment. I can buy better web space, domain names, better storage, things like that. It becomes a bit more of an incentive to be able to do this every week. Now, if you've been listening for this far, please let me know. I know you do have Twitter accounts. I know you do. Please let me know on Twitter. That's twitter.com. You just send me a tweet to SHAIDO, Shido on Twitter, or you just look up Shane Lockwood on Twitter. You should find me. And send me a tweet. Let me know you've been listening to this long, and I know I've been rambling for a lot of it. But if you want to be on the show, if you've got a soundbite, all you'd have to do is record yourself saying, I love the show, or I listen to Easy Like a Sunday Morn, and I will include it in the show somewhere. I've done it before, you know that. For those of you who have been listening long enough, you know that I have done that before with earlier shows. And I will keep sound bites, and I will reintroduce them later. So any shows that you've been on, do save them now so that I don't delete them forever. The link to the Facebook group is down below as well. What else is there? Most of you have been listening to this through YouTube, which is great. Thanks for listening to this through Spreaker. You should be able to find me there through Spreaker. Or if you've got the Stitcher app, find me on Stitcher. Add me to your playlist. Leave a review. I want to thank everybody who has left a review. I'm well aware of there's a few people who started accounts and left reviews. Thank you, Bearche, which was the latest review. I thought that if I had 5 reviews, that they would change the status. I'd have to do some bit more research as to what that actually does, whether it does anything at all. Because I want to be able to remove the word Spreaker out of the name of the program. If I can. There's other things I would need to. I've gone as far as I can in terms of websites and things like that, unless I'm going to pay for basically domains. Once I get a website, then I can start getting funding and stuff like that. I've talked to other podcasters who've listened to my show, left reviews and things like that, and all they do is start talking about audio quality, and I just think I just don't have the money to be able to compete with these people. But the point of this show is not to compete with anybody. The point of this show is for me to embrace life, really. That won't mean anything to a lot of people, but for those with depression, you will understand, hopefully, that that with a hook, this can pull me out of the funk that I've been in lately. I've been knocked off kilter, and like I said, I went out to lunch with Heath, and just listening to some music, started to bop along a little bit, getting jiggy with it, by Will Smith, which I listened to afterwards, and it's not didn't have the same effect as it did during lunch, strangely enough. I think because it was filtered through atmosphere of big crowds and things. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening. Yes, the code word. For those of you who have been listening for so long. The code word for today is reduced. REDUCED. And I'm going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is wish you all a fantastic week, and hope you take this next week easy like a Sunday morn.